UFO is an acronym which stands for an unidentified flying object. This term is defined as any perceived airborne or transmedium phenomena that cannot be immediately identified or explained. For thousands of years, unusual sightings in the skies have been reported by eyewitnesses throughout the world. In the year 1088 AD, a Chinese government official by the name of Shen Ku from the Song Dynasty wrote a vivid passage in his writings known as the Dream Pool Essays about an unidentified flying object. He recorded the testimonies of eyewitnesses in the city of Yangzhou, who stated that a flying object with opening doors would shine a blinding light from its interior that would cast shadows from trees for 10 miles in radius and was able to take off at tremendous speeds. The following is taken from Shen Ku's writings, where he interviewed a man about this strange occurrence. The object opened its door, and a flood of intense light like sunbeams darted out of it. Then the outer shell opened up, appearing as large as a bed with a big pearl the size of a fist illuminating the interior in silvery white. The intense silver white light shot from the interior was too strong for human eyes to behold. It cast shadows of every tree within a radius of 10 miles, the spectacle like the rising sun, lighting up the distant sky and woods in red. Then all of a sudden, the object took off at tremendous speed and descended upon the lake like the sun setting. In the year 1561, the German city of Nuremberg experienced a mass sighting of celestial phenomena, or unidentified flying objects, over the city. A broadsheet article printed in April 1561 describes this mass sighting of celestial phenomena. According to the broadsheet, around dawn on the 14th of April, 1561, many men and women of Nuremberg saw what the broadsheet describes as an aerial battle out of the sun, followed by the appearance of a large black, triangular object, and exhausted combatant spheres falling to earth in clouds of smoke. The broadsheet claims that witnesses observed hundreds of spheres, cylinders, and other odd-shaped objects that moved erratically overhead. The woodcut illustration depicts objects of various shapes, including crosses with or without spheres on the arms, small spheres, 2 large crescents, a black spear, and cylindrical objects from which several small spheres emerged and darted around the sky at dawn. In the comparative religious beliefs of many cultures, they believed that their gods would traverse the skies in flying chariots. In the ancient Hindu texts and Sanskrit epics, there are descriptions of flying machines and flying temples known as vimanas. The gods would use these vimanas for various purposes such as travel and warfare. In the beliefs of the ancient Greeks, they believed that their gods lived on an acropolis on Mount Olympus, which would float high above in the heavens, giving Zeus and the gods a panoramic view of the entire earth. Biblical art in the Middle Ages would often show what appears to be a UFO during many famous biblical scenes. UFO enthusiasts have sometimes commented on the narrative similarities between certain religious symbols in medieval paintings and UFO reports. The canonical and symbolic character of such images is documented by art historians, placing more conventional religious interpretations on such images. There is much evidence within the Bible that describes angels, and even God himself using flying machines, better known as the heavenly chariots. The book of Ezekiel is perhaps where we find the most well-known account of God's angels using flying machines to travel across the heavens. The book of Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 13. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning, and the living creatures ran in return as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their works was like unto the color of a beryl, and they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went up their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. In the book of Zechariah, the prophet Zechariah witnesses what looks like a flying scroll in the sky, In his account of this strange occurrence, he even manages to give us the measurements of this flying object. He also states that this flying object has the power to consume the timber and stone of a whole house. The book of Zechariah chapter 5. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on his side according to it. And every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones. In the book of 2 Kings, the prophet Elijah witnesses a chariot of fire that causes him to go up in a whirlwind into heaven. The book of 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. The book of Psalms states that God has thousands of chariots, and that he is among them. The book of Psalms chapter 68 verse 17. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. The book of Isaiah states that God will appear with his chariots to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire. The book of Isaiah chapter 66 verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire. The book of Psalms also states that God rides upon a cherub and flies. The book of Psalms chapter 18 verse 10. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. Ancient Dead Sea Scroll writings, known as the Songs of Sabbath Sacrifice, actually describes God's personal chariot in great detail, even stating that his heavenly chariot is decorated with cherubim angels like the Ark of the Covenant. Songs of Sabbath Sacrifice chapter 12 verses 8 through 11. The cherubim bless the image of the chariot, throne that appears above the firmament. Then they joyously acclaim the splendor of the luminous firmament that spreads beneath his glorious seat. As the Ophanim advance, holy angels come and go. Between his chariot, throne's glorious Ophanim appear, something like an utterly holy spiritual fire. All around are what appears to be streams of fire, resembling electrum, and shining handiwork comprising wondrous colors embroidered together, pure and glorious. I hope you guys found this very fruitful and interesting. I'm very happy to be back making content again. It's been almost 2 months, and the topic of God's chariots was beyond interesting to look into. If you would like to support this channel, I do have a Patreon. The link for that is in the bio below. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know your honest thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and if you enjoy content of obscure topics through a biblical lens, feel free to subscribe. I'm glad to be back. Till next time.